My sister grabbed my hair, slammed my head into the wall and hissed, "You don't deserve anything." I collapsed onto the floor, bleeding, unable to move. She turned her back and walked away, never knowing someone had recorded everything. And when that person showed up at Grandpa's will reading, she fainted. The room spun in slow motion, and through the blur I realized one thing. The door behind her, the same door she used to shut me out our whole lives, was finally open. Symbolic maybe. Or maybe just a draft. Either way, it felt like the first breath after drowning. My name is Maren Ellis, I'm 27. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. A metallic smell, like old pennies, clung to my fingers when I touched the dried blood near my hairline. I remember wondering, how did we get here? How did my own sister become the person who hated me enough to hurt me? And more importantly, what do people reveal when they think no one is watching? My sister Lila always believed she could control every room she walked into. Every narrative, every impression, every relative. She perfected the smile that says, "I love my family," while simultaneously twisting the knife behind closed doors. But at the will reading she couldn't control the silence. Grandpa's lawyer cleared his throat. "There is an additional video file submitted before Mr. Ellis passed." Her face drained. Aunt Meredith whispered, "What video?" Lila laughed too loudly, one of her decoy defenses. Grandpa was practically blind. What could he possibly record? Except, it wasn't Grandpa who recorded it. I recognized the shoes in the video thumbnail. Scuffed white sneakers. Ones belonging to the only person who ever believed me. The door behind us creaked again, and just for a moment I wondered if justice sometimes walks in like a person instead of an idea. The lawyer hit play, and the room stopped breathing. Poetic realization ending of part 1. For the first time in my life I wasn't the one trapped behind the door. Lila was. The video opened with shaky footage. The kind that immediately tells you the person recording was terrified but determined. The camera tilted, refocused, then caught it clearly. Lila dragging me by the wrist, shoving me against the wall, her voice sharp as broken glass. Gasps rippled across the room. A cousin muttered, "Oh my God, that's assault." Lila shot to her feet. "This is taken out of context. She provoked me." No one moved. No one spoke. Even the old floorboards seemed to hold their breath. The door behind her, the one that had felt symbolic earlier, now seemed to loom. She kept glancing at it, like she wanted to run but couldn't figure out how to make her legs obey. My heartbeat thudded against my ribs. I didn't want revenge through fists or screaming. I wanted truth, the kind that stands on its own, shaking but unbroken. And this video, this was truth. The footage continued, catching something I hadn't noticed in the moment. Me whispering, "Please stop." And her replying, "You don't deserve anything." The room shifted. A quiet, undeniable shift. Aunt Meredith put a hand over her mouth. Grandpa's lawyer cleared his throat again, voice tight. Mr. Ellis added a note, stating that the inheritance should go to the granddaughter who demonstrated integrity. Lila swayed. No. This is a setup. Maren, say something." "I did. I'm done covering for you." Her eyes widened, not with guilt but with fear. Cliffhanger ending. Because the lawyer wasn't finished reading. The lawyer adjusted his glasses, his expression tightening as he unfolded a second sheet of paper. The room felt colder, like someone had opened a window, though no one had moved. Even the door, half ajar behind Lila, seemed to tilt toward him, as if it too were listening. He read, "If anything ever happens to Maren, anything suspicious, harmful, or cruel, this video is to be presented. And the inheritance will shift accordingly." A hush fell so thick it felt like fabric draped over the entire room. Lila shook her head violently. Grandpa wouldn't do this. He wouldn't just hand everything to her. The lawyer continued, unfazed. "And if the family attempts to pressure, intimidate, or silence her, the trust will be dissolved and distributed to charity." Aunt Meredith sucked in a sharp breath. Someone dropped a pen. I could hear my own pulse. Lila lurched forward, pointing at me. "She manipulated him. She's always been jealous." "No," I interrupted softly. "You just never thought the truth would matter." The door creaked again. A soft, eerie sound. Lila jumped like it had spoken her name. Then the lawyer said, "There is one more file." Lila staggered back. "Another video?" He nodded. My stomach twisted. I hadn't known Grandpa kept anything else. The room leaned toward the laptop as the lawyer clicked the second file open. A grainy still appeared on screen. It wasn't me. It wasn't Lila. It was someone else entirely. Cliffhanger ending. And judging by Lila's face, she knew exactly who it was. The still image sharpened. A dimly lit hallway wallpaper peeling at the edges, and a familiar silhouette standing too close to Grandpa's study door. A man. Broad-shouldered. Nervous. Holding something small in his hand. Lila's breath hitched. No, don't play that, she whispered, voice barely holding itself together. The lawyer pressed play. The man on screen, her ex-boyfriend Tyler, spoke in a low rush, pacing. She wants me to do it tonight. She said once he signs the papers she's done waiting. My fingers went numb. Tyler continued, I told her this is insane. But she keeps saying Maren doesn't deserve a cent. She said her grandpa is losing it anyway. She just wants control. Gasps erupted. Someone uttered, is this real? But no one needed confirmation. Lila's knees buckled, she caught herself on the back of a chair. That's not what it looks like, she stammered. He's lying, he's bitter, I broke up with him. My mind spun. I knew she resented me, envied me, but coercing her ex to manipulate Grandpa? That was a level I hadn't imagined. The door behind her thudded softly as if reacting, and she flinched again. The lawyer wasn't finished. Mr. Ellis submitted this because he feared attempts to alter his estate under pressure. His instructions were explicit. He read the final line. Protect Maren. Even from her own blood if necessary. Silence dropped like a curtain. Lila whispered, Maren, please, you don't believe this. You know me. But I finally saw her clearly. Cliffhanger ending. And for the first time, she realized I wasn't stepping through that door alone anymore. A tremor passed through the room, subtle but unmistakable, the collective shift of loyalties. It was strange watching it happen in real time. Relatives who once avoided my gaze were now staring at Lila as if seeing a stranger. Even Uncle Drew, who always defended her strong personality, looked pale. The door behind her eased open another inch, stirred by a draft I couldn't feel. It framed her like some sort of quiet omen. The lawyer cleared his throat. There is one final instruction regarding the distribution of assets. Lila snapped, just say it. He lifted his eyes to mine instead. Mr. Ellis stated that the primary heir must demonstrate honesty, and the willingness to walk away from toxic influence. A ripple of murmurs. Lila blinked rapidly. Walk away? What does that even? But he continued. Therefore, the estate will not be awarded until Maren submits a personal statement affirming that she is free from coercion, and that she chooses her own well-being first. I swallowed hard. The room blurred slightly, not from emotion but from one distinctly human detail. The sharp smell of lemon-scented polish on the conference table. An odd, grounding scent in such a chaotic moment. Lila stepped toward me. Her voice cracked. Maren, I messed up, okay? But we can fix this. Don't humiliate me. Please. Her desperation loosened something in me, but not in the way she intended. Because for once, the door wasn't trapping me. It was inviting me forward. Cliffhanger ending. And the moment I opened my mouth to speak, Grandpa's lawyer received a new email notification. The email notification chimed. A single bright ding that sliced through the tension. The lawyer frowned at his screen, adjusting the window. His brows lifted in surprise. It's from the trust executor's office, he murmured. Lila stiffened. What now? He clicked it open, eyes scanning quickly. It appears there was an addendum scheduled for release only after the will was viewed in full. My pulse kicked. The door, now nearly half open, shifted again with a soft sigh as if urging the moment forward. The lawyer read aloud. If Maren is present at the will reading and if evidence arises that she has been mistreated by any family member, the trust will activate Clause 7. A low hum of whispers spread. Clause 7? Aunt Meredith asked. The lawyer exhaled. Yes. Clause 7 allows the executor to reassign property, including real estate, based on moral grounds, not bloodline. Lila's face lost every trace of color. No, he can't just take the house away from me, Grandpa promised. That promise, the lawyer said gently, was contingent on good behavior. The tension snapped. What does that even mean? She demanded. He turned the screen toward us. A single sentence glowed in the email. The primary residence shall go to the granddaughter who showed compassion when no one else did. My throat tightened. Grandpa had always seen me. The parts one hid, the parts one doubted, the parts Lila mocked. Lila whispered, Marin, don't let them do this. Say something. Stop this. For the first time she wasn't commanding. She was pleading. Cliffhanger ending. And then the lawyer revealed what Clause 7 required me to do next. The lawyer folded his hands, pausing long enough that even the lights seemed to hold still. The door, now fully open behind Lila, cast a narrow beam of hallway light across the floor. A quiet path leading outward, forward, away. Clause 7, he said carefully, requires Marin to decide whether she wishes to share the inheritance, or claim it independently with full legal separation from any family member involved in her mistreatment. The room inhaled. Lila exhaled. Marin, choose share, she whispered, trembling. We're sisters. Don't do this. I panicked, okay? I made mistakes. But you're not heartless. The irony almost made me smile. I wasn't heartless. I'd spent years being the opposite. Too forgiving. Too quiet. Too willing to close the door on my own pain just to keep the peace. But now the symbol shifted. The door didn't mean separation anymore. It meant clarity. Choice. Freedom. A cousin leaned toward another and murmured loud enough for me to hear. If I were Marin, I'd take it all. After what Lila did. No question. Lila flinched at the whisper. The lawyer asked gently, Marin, do you need a moment? I surprised myself. No, I said softly. I don't. My voice didn't tremble. Not this time. Lila stepped closer, tears streaking mascara down her cheeks. Please, she begged. Don't leave me with nothing. But she had left me with nothing for years. Respect, trust, safety, all stripped away behind closed doors. Now one door remained open. Cliffhanger ending. And what I chose in that moment changed everything. I looked at Lila, not the sister I wanted her to be, but the woman she had chosen to become. The room felt suspended, everyone waiting for the verdict delivered not by a judge but by me. The door's beam of light stretched all the way to my feet, and for the first time, stepping through it didn't feel like abandoning family. It felt like reclaiming myself. I choose independence, I said quietly. A ripple moved through the room. Relief. Justice settling like dust. Lila's lips parted but no sound came out. She sank into a chair, staring at her hands as if they no longer belonged to her. Maybe losing control was its own kind of mirror, one she couldn't look away from. The lawyer nodded solemnly. Then the estate, property, accounts and all related assets, transfer solely to Marin Ellis. There was no dramatic music. No applause. Just a calm final turning of a key in a lock I'd spent years trying to open. A small human detail grounded me then. The faint warmth of the coffee cup someone had left near my elbow, steam still drifting upward. Ordinary. Comforting. I glanced back at the door. Once it symbolized everything I wasn't allowed to have. Now it meant possibility. As people dispersed, offering quiet nods of support, I walked past Lila without bitterness. Not triumph. Not cruelty. Just peace. Because revenge didn't mean destroying her life. It meant choosing my own. And finally I stepped through the open door.